You know, we're Blazer fans. If you've ever watched a video of ours, you know that because we mention it every video.
Yeah, if you don't, you're living under a rock.
Yeah, and we've been honestly pretty mid so far to start this season, but I'm just happy we're finally competitive. We're at least in the mix for the playoffs, the play-in. But of course, once our rebuild finally starts turning the corner, we gotta compete with the best fucking rebuild of all time in our own damn division, this stacked Oklahoma City Thunder team.
Yeah, for any Shea haters out there that aren't fans of teams in the Northwest Division, imagine if you had to play them 4 times a year. It's not exactly very fun. I mean, how do you compete with these guys? They're coming off a title, best record in the league so far, on pace for the best season ever, doing all this without their second best player, and they have just a war chest still of lottery picks somehow.
Before we start talking about the potential Thunder Dynasty, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any new videos. So we know we're jumping the gun a little bit with this, but I mean, it's YouTube. You gotta have like a title that catches the eye.
Also trying to put the curse to good use, you know?
Exactly. You know, the synthetic sports curse is our last chance to stop the Thunder because so far nothing else has.
I mean, yes, so far the Thunder looks strong enough to, you know, brute force their way through
Yes. But overall, like if any team is strong enough to become a dynasty during this unprecedented era of parity, the second apron era, it's this Thunder team. First of all, they're already coming off a championship, so they got 1 championship under their belts.
Step 1 complete.
Yep, they were the second youngest team ever to win a title, only behind our 1977 Portland Trailblazers.
And famously, we rattled off a bunch after that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's not a bad omen whatsoever. Following that, during the offseason, they obviously didn't really make any major moves. They just locked up guys to long-term big deals. Shea gets a 4-year, $285 million extension. Chet got a 5-year extension that could reach up to $250 million. J-Dub got a 5-year extension as well. His could reach up to $287 million. The other Jalen Williams got 3-year, $24, and they locked up AJ Mitchell, who we'll get into him later, to an insanely frugal 3-year, $9 million deal, which outside of Deni Avdija's contract, it's got to be the most team-friendly deal in the NBA with the way he's playing to start this season.
I mean, it's up there, yeah. Thunder also had the 15th pick in the draft because of course they did. It originally belonged to Miami, and they used it to take Thomas Sorber out of Georgetown. Now, unfortunately, he tore his ACL during an offseason workout in September, so likely won't play this season, but he's just another piece just like Nikola Topic that they have, you know, for the future. J-Dub also had surgery on his wrist in July, so he's been out for the start of the season, and you know, for most teams, that'd be a big blow, you know, missing a top 15 to 20 player in the NBA, but we've barely noticed it for OKC. Didn't start the season like super dominant. Of course, they were taken to double overtime on opening night against the Rockets. You know, it was ring night, put up their first ever championship banner, and the Rockets gave them one of the best games of the year, but ultimately Shea comes alive late and they survive. Next game, a finals rematch against the Pacers in Indiana, where the Pacers basically just took them to double overtime out of spite. I'm still not exactly sure how they did this. I mean, Shea drops 55, AJ Mitchell also drops a career high 26 off the bench, and again, they get it done in double overtime. But since these 2 games, things have not been close at all for the Thunder. They have been winning by an average of 18.5 points a game, at least at the time of this recording. We're recording this before they play the Timberwolves on Wednesday. And if you go to their basketball reference page and look at their game results, it's just massive green bar after massive green bar. I mean, they're just destroying teams right now.
Yeah, in their 3rd game this season, they beat the Hawks 117-100. Shea and Chet combined for 61. And another reason just to be terrified of this Thunder team, Chet continues to get better on offense. He's basically shooting the same amount of shots per game this year, but his field goal percentage has gone from 49% last year, which, you know, is pretty good, to an insane 56.2% this season. A couple nights later in Dallas, the Mavericks actually played them pretty close, surprisingly. Chet had a couple welcome to the league moments on Cooper Flagg, though. He blocked him on a layup attempt after Flagg picked off his outlet pass, and then he had a big dunk on him in the second quarter. And despite a late push by the Mavericks, the Thunder still win 101-94. Chet then misses the next 3 games for the Thunder. He was dealing with some back tightness, but they still beat the Kings at at home by 6, beat the Wizards by almost 20, the Pelicans by 31. Then they went on the road to LA and beat the Clippers by almost 20. But in their 9th game of the season, they'd finally take a loss to our Portland Trailblazers, baby.
Yep, exactly. I mean, just beating the Thunder isn't for everybody.
Right.
It's only for the team up in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, to be fair to Oklahoma City, we got to mention Chet was once again out, and they were also missing, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. So, you're down like 4 of your top 7 players at this point. But, I mean, to be fair to us, the Blazers without Scoot.
Right.
And once we get him back, it's game over. No one's got a chance, right?
And even then, they were up 22 at one point in this game. You're missing all these players. So, they lost, but did they really lose?
Yes. It counts as an L in the loss column. So, you know what? We're going to take it, right? We need wins right now.
Okay, fair enough. But ever since this game, the Thunder have just been absolutely dominant. They beat the Kings by over 30 2 nights later. Isaiah Hartenstein has a monster 33-point, 19 board game. They follow that up beating the Grizz by 14. And then they laid down a couple beatdowns against some of those California teams, beating the Warriors by 24, and then the Lakers by 29 in a game that was just never really close. And it was so funny, Lakers fans after that game were hating on the Warriors, oh, we're about to show Golden State how to beat the Thunder.
Yeah, it's not funny when you're next, though.
Yeah, they got absolutely worked.
They then went to Charlotte, beat the Hornets by 13, then beat the Pelicans by 17, came home, beat the Kings by 14, then went to Utah, beat the Jazz by 32, although weirdly enough, Jazz were actually up by 18 at one point in the first quarter of this game, but the Thunder completely dominated the rest of the game, including going on a 33-4 run in the third quarter, which included them scoring 22 straight points at one point. And then they played the Blazers again on Sunday. We got absolutely worked, but again, we still don't have Scoot, so I don't think that counts. You can't count that game against us. We didn't have Scoot.
Right. Yeah, I watched the first half of that game, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm just going to watch Sunday Night Football.
I think I watched the first 7 minutes,
right.
Turned it off for 45 minutes, and I was like, oh, I wonder how the Blazers are doing. Went back and we were down 29. It was 103-74. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back to watch football.
Yeah, that was the most predictable beatdown of all time.
But we still don't have Scoot, so it doesn't count.
Right, we don't have Scoot. And finally, we're recording this before the Timberwolves game on Wednesday, as we mentioned. But if you're watching this video, they got the win there as well.
And if you're not, it's lost media.
It's all gone. So right now, they're at the top of the league, 18-1 record. That is a .947 winning percentage. And to give you some context, the 2016 Warriors, the team that set the record for 73 wins in a season, the best season ever, had a .89 winning percentage. So by winning percentage, they're ahead of that Warriors team. But it is important to keep in mind that Warriors team started 24-0 that season, and a lot of their losses came later in the season.
Yeah, I keep hearing people saying oh, they're on pace to beat the Warriors record. I'm like,
you sure about that?
I get, mathematically, I guess.
Yes.
But in real life, no, they're not. The Warriors were on a better pace at this point in the season.
But unlike that Warriors team, this Thunder team has not been fully healthy to start the season. J-Dub, as we've touched on, still has not played a single game. We're expecting him to come back soon. I've been trying to find updates. The Thunder have been pretty quiet on it.
Why rush him at this point?
Exactly. Why even play him?
You're f***ing mauling teams without him.
He could even, make his debut before this video comes out. I doubt that, but I'm expecting in the next couple weeks, at least before the calendar year ends, they're probably going to get J-Dub back, and they're going to be even more dangerous with him because he's a top 20 player and he hasn't played at all this season, which is insane.
Yeah, and besides him, Chet's missed 4 games as well. Lou Dort's missed 6. And then you got other guys like Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Alex Caruso have been in and out of the lineup, and it has not felt noticeable whatsoever. And I'd say the biggest story of their season so far, breakout of AJ Mitchell. I mean, he was just a guy drafted in the second round of the 2024 draft. He played a little bit last year, but didn't do too much in his rookie year. And then out of nowhere, he's averaging 16 points a night off the bench. Dude doesn't even have a picture on StatMuse, and yet he's got 5 games so far this year where he scored 20 or more. And somehow, the mad bastard that is Sam Presti managed to lock this guy up to a 3-year, $9 million deal. So you also got this guy on maybe the best bargain contract in the NBA.
They got 6 players averaging double figures because Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, they're just shooting the lights out off the bench. They have by far the best defense in the NBA. As we record this on Monday night, their defensive rating is 102.8, and the next lowest is the Pistons at 110. Just like a massive gap.
Over 7 points.
Yeah, it's the highest relative defensive rating of all time, which if you don't know that stat, it's your defensive rating compared to the league average. The only team really close is the 1964 Celtics, and that was back when there was like, what, 10 teams in the NBA?
If
like
that.
Yeah, it's hard to even compare stats to back then.
And they were taking like trains and buses to games.
Right. They force the most turnovers. They get the most steals. They're the best team defending the paint. Simply put, they're one of the best defensive units in NBA history.
Yeah, they also got the highest net rating in the NBA as well, but not only is it the highest in the league this year, it's the highest of all time, and it really isn't close.
God.
And again, the scary part about the Thunder is they're like future-proofed too. Like they have somehow built the best roster in the entire NBA while simultaneously planning for the future, because Sam Presti, this is straight up like some 2K rebuild shit,
It is.
where you like, you know, sell everything at like the highest possible price, and you get all these, you know, superstars to come in, and you still got a boatload of first-round picks. The Thunder could end up with 4 first-round picks in next year's draft. They got the Clippers' unprotected first-round pick, which unless James Harden keeps up this amazing play he's doing, that has potential to be the #1 pick in the draft. They have a Jazz first that's protected 1 through 8. Probably won't convey, but you never know. They have a 76ers first that's protected 1 through 4. Again, probably won't be a lottery pick, but if the 76ers keep struggling, could be, you know, a mid-round pick. And they got the Rockets first protected 1 through 4 as well. That almost certainly will not be a lottery pick, but it's just another asset that they have. And they wouldn't keep their own in this situation because they have the rights of the 2 most favorable between the Rockets and the Clippers, and their own pick, and their pick, barring calamity, is going to be the last pick in the draft. Again, like the Clippers pick is the one we all got to watch out for. Like if they get the Jazz, the 76ers, the Rockets, like whatever. They're protected 1 through 4. Like I guess like at worst, like maybe the 76ers pick is like the 11th pick if they really keep struggling the rest of the year. That Clippers pick, man, if it's a top 4 pick, then something needs to be done. There needs to be an intervention. This is getting to the point where like, can we use antitrust laws to break this team up or something like that? Like this is a problem.
So yeah, like as we've said before, if there's any team equipped to win in the second apron era, it's this Thunder team, because the players they do end up losing, because they're going to lose some players, just they're not going to be able to pay them. They're going to be able to replace them as long as they draft well with these future picks, these lottery picks coming in, and just these other first-round picks.
And even if they don't hit on every draft pick, they have enough where they can afford to miss here and there.
Yeah, like they're gonna lose guys like Hartenstein. I think is gone after this season. He's got a $28.5 million team option for next year. I just don't think they can afford that. Alex Caruso is another guy. I think he's gonna be traded the next couple seasons. He's gonna be making $20 million plus. Again, I don't think they can afford that. And then they might lose like a Cason Wallace or Lou Dort, because they're each gonna have to get new deals here soon as well, which, you know, it would suck to lose all those guys, because all those guys are great players. Some of them are the best defenders in the league, but like we've said, like multiple picks coming in, possible multiple lottery picks. Nikola Topic still hasn't played. Thomas Sorber hasn't played. They're gonna be able to fill that production as long as they can hit on some of these picks. So to wrap this up, we originally recorded this video like 2 weeks ago, had to postpone it, and I'm gonna ask you the same questions. I'm curious if your answers have changed. 1, is an OKC dynasty inevitable, as the title suggests? And 2, are they gonna break that Warriors all-time winning
I
record?
think I might disappoint you because I had the same answers I did like
Really?
2 weeks ago. Yeah. Okay. On the dynasty one first, inevitable, no. Likely, I would say yes. Inevitable, no. Because I'm going to get away from being like, oh, here comes the dynasty, because we did that with Milwaukee. We did that with Boston.
Fair.
We did it with the Nuggets, and we've had a new champion each and every year. So I'm not going to say inevitable. Like in the modern NBA, you know, they're going to have to replace, like you said, Hartenstein, probably Caruso, maybe Dort, maybe some other guys. If I had to bet money on anyone to hit on NBA draft picks, it would be the Thunder, but I probably would have said that about the Warriors like 5-6 years ago, and they missed on quite a few guys, right? So, you know, at a certain point, you know, they're gonna miss on some draft pick. It happens to everybody. No one bats 1,000. At some point, they will miss, right? So if they can't replace those guys, and you know, they've got the second apron looming, maybe, I don't think they would have to get rid of like Chet or J-Dub, but you know, that second apron is always there. It's always looming. Maybe they would have to. So I don't want to say inevitable on the dynasty. If you ask me, is it likely? I would say, yeah, I would think it's likely, but not inevitable. And then in terms of breaking the all-time regular season record, again, like they would only be able to take 7 more losses the rest of the season, which, you know, they're on pace to do it right now. But in the NBA, good teams always just drop random games here and there to teams they're not supposed to. Like that Warriors team that broke the record, they started 24-0. Most people remember that. Most people don't remember that their first loss was on the road to a Bucks team that was like 5 or 6 games under 500.
Right.
You know, people forget they got blown out by an average Blazers team by 32 points. A bad Lakers team beat them by 17. They dropped a home game to a bad Timberwolves game late in the year. So they're going to drop random games here or there. And also, you mentioned this to me before the recording, their remaining strength of schedule is the toughest in the league. Like they still got to play the Nuggets 4 times, Timberwolves 3 more times after this video goes out. Like they still got to play a lot of heavy hitters. So I'm just banking, you know, bake in like 3, maybe 4 losses that they're not supposed to take. And when they got to play, you know, the Nuggets, the Wolves, maybe eventually if they got to go to LA and play the Lakers or the Warriors or Cleveland or Detroit, you know, there's just going to be some losses here or there. And also, last point, the Warriors broke the record in 2016. And unless I'm misremembering this, I swear to God, I can remember either Draymond or Steph going on the record and saying that they actually felt that was the wrong thing to do. Because
I think they did, yeah.
They pushed for it late in the season. They really went for it hard. And they felt like in the playoffs, the fatigue of having gone for it so hard when they could have rested caught up to them. Now, whether that's them just making excuses or whatever, I don't know. But I think the Thunder are going to learn from that. You know, there's a good chance we get to March and they have like a 12, 13, 14 game lead on second place. At
Probably
that point,
will.
Yeah. At that point, it's like, you know, why push for it? You know, if it just happens, great. But I don't think they're going to go all out for it like that Warriors team did. So I think they're probably going to finish around like, you know, the 71-72 win range.
I'm mostly going to disagree. First, like, is the dynasty inevitable? I mean, technically not. Inevitable means it's going to happen no matter what.
Inevitable means Thanos.
Yeah, like, are they Thanos level? Maybe not quite, but they're getting there. Like, they're acquiring, you know, a new Infinity Stone, like, as each year goes on.
And remember, even Thanos eventually lost.
I guess that's a true point. But, I mean, a dynasty to me is like 3 titles over like an 8-year span. I would count that as a dynasty. I feel like barring something major happening, a major injury, Mark Dagnall getting arrested for, you know, illegal poker games, unless something like that happens, I think this Thunder team will win like 3 titles over the next like 8 years. I just don't see how they don't with how dominant they are, the defense, and they're only going to get better because they're still young. Like Chet and J-Dub are not even at their peaks. I think Shea, like, if he gets better, we're all screwed.
Yeah, if he gets better, then how?
I think he's basically at his peak, but J-Dub and Chet, I expect to get better, especially Chet. I expect to, you know, take some more leaps. I'm still high on Chet. I've been high on Chet this entire time, so I think in some ways it is inevitable. And I'm going to say, I think they break the Warriors record. They do have the toughest schedule remaining. As you said, they've played the easiest schedule thus far, so we got to keep that in mind. But somehow it feels like no matter the lineup they roll out, they just still dominate teams. Their one loss, like we said, was to the Blazers, and it was a game they should have won. They just choked at the end. Like, I could see them sitting their 3 best players and still Isaiah Joe somehow going for 30. Like, that's what this Thunder team feels like. Their defense is so good. They're so damn deep. I just really feel like they're gonna break the record, and I think they're a team that's gonna push for it. They already have a title under their belt, kind of like that Warriors team already had a title, and I understand, like, yeah, it was probably a mistake for that Warriors team to do that, but this Thunder team is so young that they could rest players, and I think still get it done, and I think they're just gonna push for it because they want to be known as, you know, the best team of all time, and that's how you put your name in the conversation. I think your logic is completely valid. They're gonna drop more games, the schedule's gonna get tougher, but ultimately I think they're gonna do it. We're gonna see, but regardless, I'm terrified of this team, and it's not fair.
Yeah,
like,
it's not
come
fair,
on.
yeah.
The Blazers, as we said in the intro, they're finally trending up, and then we gotta compete with Thanos. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, you know, I just look around sometimes at like the NBA landscape and like the Thunder are killing it. The Pistons are back after so long. Like, you know, the Raptors are back on the way up. And I'm just like, when's it going to be our turn? We've been waiting for like 15 years. And I know that's not very long in the history of sports, but like so many other teams have had their turn to be really, when's it our turn?
Just give it time. Stay patient. It's coming. So what do you guys think? Is this Thunder Dynasty inevitable? And are they going to break the Warriors record for the best season in NBA history? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving a like. And hey, while you're here, check out some of our other content as well. Don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.